Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, we've been asked about benzene or C6H6. And to answer this question, I think it would be helpful to draw benzene, right? Benzene is a planar molecule of alternating double bonds between carbons. And if you'll recall, there are hydrogens, a single hydrogen on each carbon. Okay, this is benzene. You may also sometimes see benzene represented as the following, not as alternating double bonds, but as a circle in the middle to represent that the double bonds are really shared between all these carbons. Or you may see dotted lines to indicate that, in fact, each of these bonds is 1.5 bonds. Now, the reason for that is that this bonding network is really just a bunch of overlapping p orbitals. Remember, each of these carbons is sp2 hybridized. And if you're sp2 hybridized, that means you've got 3 sp2 orbitals and 1 unhybridized p orbital. Okay, so the sp2 orbitals are what overlap for this bond and this bond and this bond. Okay, but that leaves an unhybridized p orbital sticking straight up out of the page. Okay, there's one here, 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 and there's one here. Okay, and they're all in phase overlapping. And it just so happens that each of them contains 1 electron. Okay, each of these overlapping p orbitals contains 1 electron. If we look at it from kind of the side, what we're talking about is something like this. 1 electron, 1 electron, 1 electron, 1 electron, 1 electron, and 1 electron, right? Forming one big happy molecular orbital for a total of 6 electrons. We can also think about it in the double bond sense. We don't have to think about it like that. We could say, okay, the p orbitals, the pi bonds, right, are these double bonds, okay? And each of these carbons must be bringing 1 electron to the party if there's 2 electrons in a bond, right? So it's like saying, okay, this double bond has 2 electrons, this double bond has 2 electrons, this bond has 2 electrons. I guess not the double bond, but just the pi bond, right? That pi bond has 2 electrons. This pi bond has 2 electrons. This pi bond has 2 electrons, right? This sigma bond has 2 electrons, as does this one, 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 right? So there's 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 electrons in sigma orbitals and 6 in pi orbitals. Okay, that's it.